is only 8 to 9%. So in our country, almost you can say corruption pays. And the judicial system has not come up to the mark. What do you say about it? You get frustrated.
No, I think the delay has got nothing to do with the system. Stand as accused in the Patiala court and take bail after they were arrested. And they got immediate bail. And I don't think it is going to take more than 5 months more to convict them. So 1 year, 5 months is not a very long period by any international standards. But if I was not, I also believe that we need now only examples, 1, 2 or 3. Take for example the 2G. You will get, by September, October, you will get convictions. And Rajya and Kanimori, all these people will go to jail. I don't even think that Ms. Jayalalitha is going to escape. Of course, in the case of Jayalalitha, it took me 18 years, but I never gave up. I chased her. And today, Supreme Court, I would be very surprised if they acquit her. And they at most may ask for a retrial because much of the calculations done at the lower court level has been weak. Also, you must understand that our judges are really overworked. The Supreme Court of the United States, there they take in a year only 200 cases. Rest they reject, and they don't take it up even, because they say there's no constitutional point in it. So, in our country, judges are taking 200 cases a day. Second, in the Supreme Court of the United States, they allow the plaintiff 20 minutes to argue, the respondent 20 minutes to argue, and the plaintiff 10 minutes to reply, and not more. Here, all our lawyers, because their fees depend on the number of hours they put in, they argue for 4 days, 5 days, 10 days. They quote all kinds of precedents and so on. So I am saying, why blame the system when the working of it is this way? I think what we need now is to find some ways in which the Supreme Court is restricted to constitutional cases. We have, no judge should be allowed to retire. After they reach the retirement age, they should become part of something called the appellate court, so that matters coming from High Court doesn't go to the Supreme Court, goes instead to this appellate court. And only constitutional issues come to the Supreme Court. Then I'm sure that there are these reforms is something I think we need to work on. And we have all the heavy load and all the miseries that people face. And they retire. By the way, Supreme Court judges retire at 65. Do you know that? Today 65 is nothing. And all this experience goes waste. And they have to sit at home. So I would suggest that we should create an appellate body of all those who are past 65, judges, Supreme Court judges, and they deal with cases coming from the High Court. The Supreme Court only deals with constitutional issues.
Mr. Chauhan, I'll come to you.
Sir, first of all, I want to pay a huge compliment to you, and I agree with our President Dilip Bhai that what a brilliant and balanced commentary. We never, even for a moment, saw that politicians speaking. You never raised your voice. Sir, I read somewhere that the good governance is neither a pure politics nor a pure developmental economics. And in light of your comment, which 2-3 times you repeated, that we have a huge potential, but conversion of potential into performance is the challenge. And how do we strike a balance between not pure politics and not pure developmental economics?
There is only one way that can happen: when people vote for performance. People vote on caste, region, religion, etc. Then there is no merit. You vote for your Jat Bhai because he is your Jat Bhai. And you don't care whether he has performed or not performed. You don't want somebody else's caste to take his place. Now that we have to educate. The younger generation is now voting like that. They are no more going by these traditional boundaries. I think the day when merit becomes the key factor in electing an official, or a member of parliament, you will find that all this will change. I don't think it is really inherent in our system, it is inherent in the way we vote. And that is the problem.
Thank you for your excellent response.
Speak in the mic. Speak in the mic. Speak inside the mic.
More impressed, I was referring to Mahatma Gandhi
Yes.
and Mahatma Gandhi's policy of trusting unto the last, whether poorest or the poorest would get. So I want to ask you one question. So our relations with China and especially our entry to the nuclear subway, when our Honorable Prime Minister met Barack Obama, we got an assurance that our case would be taken up. But to our surprise, and with the best of our efforts and our capability in science, we still don't find a place in nuclear supply. My second question is, Vijay Mallya and others, Dalit Modi, the assets which they have there, if and London not cooperating with this extradition, if we could get a way of that, all those who have defrauded India, if they are brought back to India, that I think so our economy will improve a lot. Thank you, sir.
The short answer to your second question is that Mallya is being brought back very soon. The problem with Lalit Modi is he has already taken a citizenship of another country. So it's a little more complicated problem, but we'll get him also, don't worry. I think the issue that you raised is that there are, these are the kinds of persons who maybe 20 years ago wouldn't even have been brought to book in the media and the press and even been subjected to any prosecution. Today we find that these things are taking place and we need to further sharpen and improve our system where these people are actually punished. The crooks in our system, they spread despair by saying nothing will happen, judges will be bought, and the politicians will be paid off, and all this is drama, it will be over. Well, that, please don't fall prey to that. Just keep pressing, keep asking, why not, and you will find that sooner or later politicians will have to respond to this.
Sir,
sir, thank you so much for your opportunity.
Please give the mic to the lady.
Just two small questions.
Excuse me, please give the mic to the lady there.
Your turn will come.
Yeah, I will direct it.
First of all, thank you so much for beautiful speech what you have given today. And as you were saying that women in India have really given the money to the savings to the Indian economy. I am one of that women who has worked so hard for 35 years. And every saving of mine was in NSCL. And nothing has been done for that for so long, and there are so many women like this.
How long are you willing to wait for?
My God, it's 35 years I have worked for this, and with my sweat and, whatever we have done.
Matter is not over.
But there is no positive from the government in this.
No, not so fast. The new action has started, and I am pretty sure that it's not a difficult problem to restore your savings because the amount in the hands of the crooks is equal to what you lost. So
Yes.
once you get that money out of them, we will distribute it to you without difficulty. The problem is that such things shouldn't happen. This was actually a masterminded by Chidambaram and his son, and very soon we will get to the bottom of it. Don't worry about this. You may have suffered these few months, this last 1 year, but I'm sure that you will get relief in
We have laid off so many artists yes,
We
because
know
of
that.
this, and you want the economy to grow. If everything happens like this,
We
how
know
is the
that,
economy going to
we
grow?
know that, but people also close their eyes and invest thinking they get a shortcut to power. Yeah, I
So if they
will.
wanted to change.
Just relax a bit.
Yeah, the second question is, I read your thing also about a 2 lakh crores time bond has been there.
So how they are going to deal with that time bomb, that R3, it's coming very near. Where is the money? Who's going to fund that money? Without you being the finance minister, avoiding the Income Tax Act, where is the money going to come?
Well, first of all, please go to Economic Times office and tell them they are telling lies when they are saying that everything is wonderful and Raghuram Rajan has transformed India into a paradise and so on, and tell them that sab thanda pada hua hai, kuch nahi ho raha hai.
Absolutely right.
Okay, these newspapers are playing at those who are rolling money for them, and they are writing all kinds of rubbish to create the impression. I started by saying we may have had a high growth rate, but when you disaggregate that number, you find that medium and small industries have collapsed.
Excellent.
We have found agriculture not making any progress. We have found so many other things about the economy which is not functioning, and including the fact that the enthusiasm for future growth is also evaporating. Middle class is suffering, prices are rising. All that I have said so. But I also say to you, these are rectifiable problems. And I think these 2 years, at the end of 2 years, we have had a sobering effect. And judging from my own discussions within the party, I am convinced that within a very short time, maybe less than a year, you will find a complete transformation taking place in this situation in our economy.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you again after an asset session. My two questions to you. Do you think the bureaucracy of the central government is in resonance with your own government? As you said regarding the mindset has to be clear. The Prime Minister has visited Saudi Arabia, he's visited Iran, but he's yet to visit Israel, of course. And the second
Visiting Israel soon, don't worry.
yeah. Taxing the PPF accounts, that gave a contradictory signal to the middle class which voted by BJP. And the second question is quite serious. 1971 war, one of the Indian cabinet ministers was a mole in Indian cabinet, and he leaked the information to CIA. Can you name?
No. You are saying it and asking me to name it. I have not heard this from any reliable source. And these are propagandas we have to be very careful that Indians are buyable and purchasable and Indian politicians worse. This is a propaganda which is not untrue. There are politicians who are buyable, I know them. But that doesn't mean that in the Indian cabinet somebody can do this and our agencies will not know about it. And I know of no minister who has been passing on, minister I'm talking about, who's been passing on information to the CIA during the time of war. That propaganda was let loose, I remember, but it was just a propaganda.
So coming back to the NSL issue, so it is now 3 years, not 1 year, and the assets which you mentioned, which has been taken by the government, has not been even looked at it because the law has not been amended. Number 3, the government sponsors are taking time by time. Thereby 13,000 investors are getting in a big problem, sir.
You take my email and send me step 1 should be taken, step 2 should be taken, step 3 is taken, I'll take them. Because I get contradictory advice and therefore I do what I think is right. The whole action that has now been initiated by SEBI is on the basis of my letter to the Prime Minister about 2 weeks ago. I took interest only 2 weeks ago in this matter because I was tied up with other work. So, if you feel that the following steps should be taken, you send me an email and I'll see that it is done.
Hello, sir. My name is Modi. So I have a question on the nuclear thing. So you wonderfully said that 60% of thorium is with India, and we have built the first fast-breeder reactor at Kalpaka, which is successful and somehow it's not been brought forward. I've been working in this area for a long time in favor of it. So I say, sir, the new thorium reactor is 25 years away. Plan is wonderful. So how do we mine uranium? Well, I'm discussing with the mining ministry now because they have a conclave shortly. And we will be part of that whole equation because I am a publisher of our economy. So I just want to ask you, sir, how do we go forward? It's the right step, but how do we go forward with this nuclear game? This is my question.
No, you see, Baba had laid down three stages. We have crossed 2 stages. The third stage, which was stopped after Manmohan Singh signed this nuclear deal with America, that third stage has to be funded and properly encouraged to see that we cross that third stage and solve the problem and be able to convert thorium into U-233, which can then be used in a reactor. And that stage, we have disbanded the whole research establishment. We have to reset it up, and I'm sure that it will be set up.
Hello, my name is Prashant Tapse. My question is with respect to Mr. Raghuram Rajan. You are behind him and wanted you to send him to Chicago. My question is, who is the next eligible governor? According to your thoughts.
Are you a candidate? No. We have 1.25 billion people. You mean I can't find somebody to become the governor without that?
Sir, and when can I expect the Modi government to give performance? Because there are so many activities happening.
Depends on how you measure performance. See, if you look at the kinds of things he has done, the booklets produced, I can send it to you. He has done quite a lot. I meet people who say that he's done. But if you want a 10% growth rate, well, I don't think Modi can be held responsible for that. What I am saying is that he has to be shown that this should receive a higher priority than what he has been doing so far. And that this is something within our reach and we can do it. And I'm sure that you will find that this coming year, we will grow probably 9% in the next year and 10%.
Thank you, sir. I wish you could have been governor of India.
No, I don't want to be governor of Reserve Bank.
Good evening, Dr. Swamy. I just, you said that Dr. Raghuram Rajan should be sent back to Chicago.
Yeah.
So my question is, where do you want Mr. Arun Jaitley to be sent? And second question is, on GST.
You have a sneaking feeling that I am interested in sending Arun Jaitley away also. Is that? He's a member of my party. I can't send him away.
Rajya was speaker, sir. Rajya was speaker. And on GST, you have not spoken on the reforms you didn't touch upon GST. So how do you think GST would be a game changer in the economic outlook?
I don't think GST is going to be a game changer. If it comes, it's okay. If it doesn't come, also it's okay. 95% of governance is outside Parliament, let me tell you. Parliament is only good for 2 things. One, passing legislation, and the second, for having discussions for ideas and expressing government's view on this and that. Deal for the Indian economy. There is a feeling that it will simplify the tax system. I have no objection to it. But Ms. Jayalalitha has taken very strong objection to it. At one stage, when Narendra Modi was Chief Minister also, he took objection and he wrote a letter to the government. But I will say if it comes, fine. If it doesn't come, it is fine.
You have a lot of influence with Jayalalitha.
Yes. Hello sir, thanks for taking my question. First of all, let me thank you for having an efficient, corruption-free and a clean government for 2 years. I believe Indians are really thankful for the kind of positive environment that has come in. I wanted to ask your views on 2 things. First thing is, how do you plan to deal with the Naxal problem that is...
Naxal?
Yes. And secondly, time and again we have heard about the government talking about the youth and the skilling programs.
Tell you what needs to be done. And that is, tell them, accept the constitution and talk or get shot. These are the only 2 things that the Naxals deserve. Because they are violent people, they don't accept the constitution, they should be shot. But if they accept the constitution, want to discuss and find ways by which this government, that can only be met if you accept the Indian constitution and the integrity of India. Now, the second thing is, yes, retraining, retooling, these are some things which we need to incorporate into our university system so that it's possible not only for fresh students to come and get a degree, but those who have already got a degree and have worked and now want to acquire a new skill, there should be a systematic provision available made for it. Some ad hoc things are there, where they have these retooling, retraining program, etc. But we need a systematic way by which people can do it, and even better it would be if it can be done by this EDX type courses, where you can sit at home and through the computer you can acquire these skills. I've heard that there is a committee which is now working in the HRD ministry to work this out. Let's see whether that is
the main reason that BJP came to power is that the middle class support. But we find that the government has not responded to the middle class. As you will agree that income tax has not been a 0.5% increase.
Agreed. But
we have got only 3 years left.
Yeah, so 3 years is a lot of time.
So
if you not do anything for 2 years, you can do a lot in 3 years.
Issue is
I agree with you that the aspirations of the middle class have not been met.
Yes.
All right, I agree with you there. And they are angry. But we recognize they are angry. We also recognize they haven't done enough. So, therefore, naturally I tell you, what we need to do is the middle class wants some money in their pocket, and that the only way you can do it by is abolishing income tax, and then later on generating a situation where there is we move towards full employment, where everybody can get a job. Then again, those are the things that we have to do.
But why is a very intellectual and academic person like Dr. Swamy is not able to convince Modi?
No. You amend that and say, why is he not yet convinced?
Not yet, yes.
By 15,000.
We are blamed of committing environmental crimes, but one big crime has gone unaccounted for, and that is the Bhopal case. My family has tried to raise the case in chairman meetings and everything around the world, but nothing is coming out from the current government. Whatever is happening in Dombivli, it is all the cause of the fact that big players that commit crimes, as you have said, they have not been punished. So the smaller players will not be able to give accountability. Once you catch the big players in, smaller players will give you the accountability. Can you get behind door? That's the next big challenge, and send them back to you as if they do not apologize and pay enough for it.
I've got only 24 hours a day to my time.
I appreciate you for the communication.
I have to chase Chidambaram and Airs and Maxis. I have to fight terrorism. I have to go around the country addressing meetings. This Bhopal has escaped my attention. Let me see if I remember it when I get back.
Chief Auditor of India.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right. Maybe next time I come here, I will speak about it.
Yeah, you will get the mic. Yeah, you speak in the mic.
When do you want the Indian Army to enter? Huh? No, but when do you want to? When now? Our Indian commanders say we are not ready to enter now. Give us time to prepare. So I have to give them time. If I was Commander-in-Chief, I'll have to give them time.
Let Dr. Swamy get in the external affairs. Okay.
These things are not declared that we will enter. Okay. One of these days you will find we will enter and spend. Let me tell you one thing. Since Narendra Modi's government came to power, the number of cross-border firings has gone down to practically zero. Why? Because every time they fired, we fired 10 times more. And they suffered heavy casualties. And that's why we don't hear any news channel saying that there was firing across the border. You find something in the streets of Kashmir or something, but border there isn't. Alright? They know, Pakistan knows that this is not a traditional government of India. This is a Virat government, and therefore that it's unpredictable what we would do. We can't be predictable, but at the same time we can't tell them that we will do nothing. So these things are not announced, but I can tell you that we have got this in mind, that if for a very long time more Pakistan continues to allow its territory to be used against us, we'll have to do something about it. And what that something you will find out in due course.
Maulvi Sahab, आपका सवाल है?
Sir, this is Javed Khan. Well, all this you said, whatever it is, when Modi government is going to realize the Indian economy required finance minister like you?
He is my friend, so don't believe anything he says.
Okay. I thought you were going to ask something about Islam and
today is the economy, because when the Modi government is going to realize that the Indian economy required finance minister like Dr. Subramanian.
To use your language, I'll say, Inshallah, he will learn.
quickly.
Sir, in India, we have got two magnetic words, God and gold. Our God is unfortunately having large reserve of gold, which is not coming out in that productive channelization and all that. I would like to share a Malthusian theory in economics. When a positive preventive check fails, positive check has to be employed. Now what I feel in the context of this monetization scheme which is going on currently, unfortunately it has got not a good response. So why don't your government, or as a representative of that government, that positive rupee rate in the context of versus US, pound and other hard currency in the world?
Well, as far as gold is concerned, unless we put people in a good mood about the situation, I would not touch gold. Because we need the trust of the people. And we can only use that gold when the people totally trust that we will use it for good purpose and return it. At this moment, the people of India who buy and keep gold, they are, whether it is in the temple or whether it is in their private vaults, they have no trust that, or very little trust, that this gold will be taken and returned. So at this moment I will not touch gold at all, and I don't need also that gold, number one. Number two, your question was foreign exchange rate. Exchange rate, natural exchange rate, mathematically calculated by me, is 30 rupees to a dollar. And it is because of speculation and black money and participatory notes that it is today 70 or something like that, 69 or 68 to a dollar. So sooner or later we will have to start reducing this exchange rate. It has to be done with the help of the economic forces. It can't be done by fatwa. It can't be done by an administrative order. And I think just wait a little more. That's all I can say. I can't give you more confidence than say wait a little more. But certainly this rate is unreasonable rate, and it doesn't help our exports also, because exports are not that price sensitive. So exports are much more likely to be promoted if we cater to a particular need of the other country, and they want a product, they will be ready to pay a proper price for it. So these are things which we can't find a solution immediately because of the circumstances in which we have inherited the country.
Okay, we have a lot of people.
It will come down to demographics. So I'm in my last teenage year. So, and you talk a lot about it because everything is going to get affected. But the political side of it, just touch wood, I guess, I wouldn't really want people like you to move ahead, but it will happen slowly, gradually. Eventually it will happen that the young so-called leaders of the social development sector as well as different sectors are going to move into the politics of things. So how do you think that wave is going to change? Youth and politics, and your suggestion for youth?
Youth is the stage of being young is for the presidential election. A man like Bernie Sanders, he has come in a country which used to worship youth, and with his Kennedys and that kind of the aura that was created. Today you find a man who is clearly looking old, and the young people of America are following him in large numbers. So youth is, as I say, distinctive only in three things. The fact that they have got better education than the elder generation, and two, they are ready to take risk, whereas the previous elder generation has been playing safe or has been risk averters, and three, they are willing to work on goals which are important for India rather than for your career interests. In that way, the goal is of the youth is there. It's a better crowd.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, good evening, sir. I request an update on Asaram Bapti's case. Hello. Sir, one more thing. When can we get our Tejo Mahal, which was named as Taj Mahal, and by carbon dating has been proved that it was built 300 years before Shah Jahan was born? When can we get it back renamed to Tejo Mahal?
Well, yeah. As far as Abraham is concerned, he is inside jail in a bogus case, but he is being looked after. The Chief Minister of Rajasthan has given me a full assurance that nothing will happen to him. There are problems in his ashram which make it difficult for any of us to go and get him out on bail. But in due course he'll come out, and he'll come out quite healthy. He's a spiritual man, so there is nothing to worry about. As far as the case is concerned, it's completely bogus. It has no merits whatsoever, and everything about it is a lie. It's easy to establish, and in due course we will do that. The other thing is, the other question he asked is what? Taj Mahal. Hey, you have better priorities than Taj Mahal just now. I think we'll worry about that. We leave it to historians, whoever wants to study it. But as a government, we will be guided by scholars, but we are not going to guide the scholars. That I can tell you.
Something about Shahada Group also. Shahada Group, we are investing.
No, let's take more national item. Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. I am Dinesh Pancha, and I am owning a small scale industry. As you given the reference for MSc in first stage of this one scheme. So I have observed that many of the government organizations frame the standards like this, but MSc can't get eligibility. So what can I help you by this family system of the tender?
Okay, I think the best thing for you to do is send me an email, and the man sitting next to you will give you the email address.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir. I expect that this India government will give you Bharat Ratna because you are a potential candidate.
I'll have to do it like Jawaharlal Nehru, give it to myself.
Okay, now with that very good thought.
My dad used to say that Congress को निकालना मुश्किल नहीं है. It's virtually possible. I want a reservation-free India.
Okay, now I think we'll have to enter. It's been hearing 7 o'clock, so I'll ask Nanak Rupani to give the vote of thanks.
President Dilip Piramal, our distinguished chief guest Subramanian Swamy. We are really grateful to Subramanian Swamy, who has specially come from Delhi to be with us. I know him from 1980 to 85.
Please be seated. Please, now wait for 2 minutes. It is not good manners.
When he was a member of parliament, I used to sit in the speaker gallery because that time I used to go very often to Delhi. And I used to see when he used to come, the parliament used to shake. They used to say that roaring lion has come. I have never missed a debate when he was speaking. So we are very grateful to you. And I'm sure we'll have many, many more occasions to be with us. He has touched all the subjects, important subjects, agriculture, black money, milk, forward trading, China, relation with China, wasteland. I think all the economic subject which is very important he has touched. And if he becomes the finance minister, I'm sure he will abolish income tax, because whenever I have met him, he always says that income tax has to be first step. So I think please give him a big hand, and we should try to see that he becomes a finance minister. He has always supported business community. He is an economist, and I am sure with IMCs we will be very happy to be with him whenever he wants. We will be very happy to take any issues whichever is suggested by him. Indian Merchant Chamber has been a force to reckon with. We have become a pressure group. We were able to convince Maharashtra government for the change of policies and infrastructure. Mumbai development was on the least priority for Maharashtra government. We were able to get all the political parties on platform, and which they agreed that this is a very important subject. We had BJP, we started with Nitin Gadkari and Munde, then Uddhav Thackeray, then Chief Minister from Congress party. So we will continue with you. We are sure we will be able to take issues of businessmen when we come to the. Thank you very much.
May I request the Consular Court to join us for tea? And all the past presidents, Pramod Bhai,